30 precious little minutes that go so quickly, but which we make such but which we make such good use of. You really can see if you're conscious even for 30 minutes. I mean, it's so much more kind of valuable the time instead of just spacing out, you know. It's kind of interesting. So let's make this 30 minutes worthwhile. I think just get our bodies in the right position, remembering all the time your body doesn't meditate. We tend to really kind of overemphasize the feeling of the body. So if we feel the body feels nice, we had a good meditation. But meditation's got nothing to do with the body. It's helpful if the body feels good. It's a bonus, you know. So just to check that the position that all the great meditators over the centuries have recommended for the mind to be most conducive for good focusing, you know. So if you're in the full lotus position, His Holiness the Dalai Lama always says it's really auspicious if you can start your session, even for a second, because in the most advanced meditations, that's the ideal position during which the kind of subtler energies of our body and mind are nicely aligned. So there's something meaningful about it. And also, if you're a serious meditator, you know, living in your cave, which people do for meditating all the time, your body stays upright. It's very practical. You know, you don't topple over. If you can't do that, of course, you sit in ordinary cross-legged. And if not that, if we're in a chair, it's good not to slump into the chair. Even we're just going to be doing for 30 minutes, we can still get sleepy, you know, the mind gets sluggish. So don't slump into the chair, sit upright. Have your feet firmly planted on the ground, okay? That's the really best position. Then the back should be straight. I mean, of course, your spine isn't straight, but your back should be upright. That's really helpful. Hands in your lap in the mudra of meditation like that, if you like, or just resting in your lap. And the main one is the head. Have it slightly tilted forward, chin tucked in a bit. And then your jaw relaxed and the lips apart, slightly apart. And then the tip of the tongue resting behind the top teeth, just near the palate. And that's super practical. All the great meditators have found that prevents you from dribbling or having to keep swallowing your spit. Tip of the tongue behind the top teeth. And then finally, your eyes. All the great meditators, if they've got really good concentration, if they're meditating in the day, they need the light to come in to keep your mind sharp. But of course, we get distracted because we've got our visual consciousness is very active and we haven't got good concentration. So then perhaps to have your eyes closed. But beneath your eyelids, having your eyes looking down, as if you're looking along your nose towards the ground. So let's settle into that position. And so then let me just do 5 minutes first. I want to do a meditation on the Buddha Tara this morning. There's a simple way of doing these visualizations. They're all variations, really. They're all the same, but just we change the Buddha. But they're very tasty. But for the first 5 minutes, let's concentrate. Let's use our breath as a focal point. The sensation at the tip of our nose, that will be the focal point. And we're going to simply pay attention to that. And that doesn't mean, oh, the thoughts will all go away. Don't ignore them. Don't pay any attention to your thoughts. That's not the issue here. The issue is not to follow the thoughts. And the way we're going to do that is by paying attention to one thing. It's very simple. Don't expect your thoughts to go away. They're going to chat away in the back. Let them do that. But don't pay attention to them. Pay attention to the breath. Just like if you're driving on the freeway, you can't afford to pay attention to every car on the freeway. You'll die. You pay attention to your job. You're in your lane and you're paying attention to what you need to do. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. You can't expect all the traffic to go away. That's silly. You can't expect your thoughts to go away, but we're going to focus the mind. And that helps eventually when we accomplish some concentration, that helps the thoughts calm down. So for 5 quality minutes, maybe 3 quality minutes, simply pay attention to that sensation at the tip of your nose as you breathe in and out. That's it. Just keep your mind alert. Just watch the breath. So now, imagine in front of us. If you're not familiar with this, just do your best. Get the idea behind it. There's this many beings have become enlightened. Our consciousness is not physical, the Buddha would say. And we've all got the potential to completely purify this mind to the point where there are no delusions and it's full of all the goodness and the wisdom. And because mind is not physical, when it's no longer encumbered by all the junk, then, we don't need rebirth. We don't need bodies, but our mind still exists. That's what a Buddha is. And those minds pervade the universe. So then they take different forms to benefit us. There's the regular form, like the Buddha statue behind me, the monk 2,500 years ago, but there's a more subtle form the Buddha manifests in. We're talking about this in our introduction to Tantra classes we just started. So only the great meditators, the great yogis, the bodhisattva yogis can see this form of the Buddha. So in this form of the Buddha manifests all these different forms. It's basically just, it's Buddha psychology, really. They all represent different psychological qualities. It's about meditating on them. This is how we help develop those qualities. So Tara, Buddha Tara, there are three essential qualities of an enlightened being: wisdom, compassion, the compassion to want to help others, and that's represented by Chenrezig, Chenrezig, compassionate-eyed one. Then there's wisdom, represented by Manjushri, Manju. And then the wisdom to know how to benefit. Then there's the power or the ability or the action energy to be able to do it, and that's often represented by Tara. So just imagine her in front of us. If you're familiar with the visualization, great. Blissful light, a light body, not substantial like a statue. Green light. This is the bodhisattva style. In the pictures and statues, you see it. She's sitting. Her left leg is drawn in, like, she's cross-legged, but her right leg, she's kind of like in a relaxed pose, and she's sitting on a multicolored lotus, and her right leg is sort of up, and it's sitting or resting on a little multicolored lotus. And she's like all the bodhisattva style Buddhas. She's got this, multicolored sort of silken clothing on the lower part of her body, but her upper body, basically, she's got these gorgeous breasts. She's not really got many clothes on the top. Young, beautiful, radiant, and she'll make our minds happy. So she's got all the qualities of Buddha: wisdom, compassion, all the qualities, but the aspect she shows, it's like dressing up like an actor, is the aspect of she's female, green light body, radiant light, and she's like action energy. That leg in that relaxed pose shows she's ready to hop up to help others. It's not the meditative pose. Action, confidence, success, cut through the obstacles. She's often referred to as, her name means liberator, and she's often referred to as the liberator from all the fears, very courageous energy. And we all need this badly, whether we're male or female. And like in the bodhisattva style, she's got this multicolored sort of a 5-pointed crown on her head, like a tiara in the front of her head. And her hair is partially held up in a top knot, and you can imagine all her hair down the back of her back. Everything's crystal clear, radiant. Her right hand holds the stem of a multicolored lotus between her thumb and ring finger, and her right hand is on her right knee, fingers pointing up, hand pointing up, and the fingers out, like in this gesture of giving, very generous, open. And her left hand is at her heart, fingers pointing up in this mudra of the 3 jewels, or I forget always. And the thumb and ring finger are holding the stem of another a blue upala flower, a blue lotus, one in her right hand, one in her left hand, both blooming at each of her ears. Just imagine this. Everything's radiant and it's beautiful, like a throat and ankles and wrists and upper arms decorated the way they are in this style, you know. Everything's radiant, gorgeous. And think of it as like a mirror image of our potential. By doing this kind of meditation, we're enhancing those very qualities in ourselves. That's why we do these meditations, to become like that. So we now imagine she very compassionately sends from her brow radiant beams of white light that enter our brow, penetrate, and fill us completely. And if we have any sickness and misery and this heaviness of our bodies and, you know, and all the suffering of our bodies, all of this totally instantly purified by this blissful white light filling us. But not just that, imagine also all the imprints in our mind, all the tendencies in our mind, the karmic seeds in our mind from all our countless lifetimes, this life and previous, of all the harm we've done with our bodies as sentient beings. I mean, most of us seem to kill the ants and kill the cockroaches. We might kill our pets. We might, you know, maybe had an abortion, some of us. I had an abortion, taking the life of others. So we imagine all the imprints of all those past lives we've done this, including when we were animals from the Buddhist point of view, then all of this purified. We put it kind of annihilates all these seeds, moves from our mind, all these seeds. How amazing, full of this white light, purifying. As we sing her mantra just a couple of times, imagine filling us completely. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Svaha. 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 Full of this white light. How amazing, completely purified, body feeling light and marvelous. And now again, Lama Tara sends the white light, this time filling us completely, but this time filling us with the marvelous potential, which is the potential of all of us when we're Buddha, is to benefit others. Imagining now our body can only benefit others. Can you imagine that? Whoever sees you, hears you, touches you, has any contact with you, they're only benefited by your body, by your presence. How amazing. And not to mention, full of this marvelous potential when we are Buddha, our ability to manifest in countless bodies throughout space to benefit sentient beings. That's what Buddhas do. Full of this marvelous potential. Imagine this white light. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Svaha. 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 And now Lama Tara, very compassionate. You know, I forgot to say that if you've got a teacher, a spiritual teacher, guru, lama, you imagine it's their mind. Oneness with Tara, same thing. Tara is your teacher's Tara. Makes it very personal for us. So now imagine Lama Tara very compassionately sending from her throat radiant beams of red light to penetrate our throat, fill us completely, and first purify all the nonsense in our speech. You know, sometimes we just don't feel we're saying the right thing, or we can't express ourselves properly. What we say makes no sense. We feel, we harm people we don't realize, or even very consciously we lie, or we use harsh language, or we speak bad things about people behind their backs. We love doing that. Or we just rabbit on about nothing, kind of boring people, all this nonsense coming out of our speech. Think of this life and anything we've ever said, especially as humans, of course, isn't it? All this nonsense, all purified, completely eradicated. Imagine this, full of this blissful red light. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Svaha. 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 Totally purified. And think of the habit, sometimes we feel it's hard to control our speech. We imagine we've got complete control over our speech now. Imagine that, effortless. Purified all the nonsense and all the tendency to want to pour out of our mouths our feelings, Got real control. How fantastic, full of this red light. Again, Lama Tara compassionately sends this red light penetrating our throat, filling us completely, and this time filling us with the potential. This is the main gift of the Buddha. The main way we can benefit sentient beings is with our speech. So can you imagine that whatever you say will benefit whoever's listening, will be an appropriate teaching for them? But not only that, in our daily life, we need our speech badly. If people don't listen to us, if people don't trust us, if people don't believe our words, if they don't pay attention to our words, there's nothing more frustrating. We need to have the power of speech. They call it that. Of course, when we're enlightened, every word we say. So imagine now, full of this marvelous power of speech, such that anything you say will be achieved. Whatever you need will be received. Whatever you say will benefit others. Can you imagine giving people advice? Incredible, so powerful. Full of this marvelous potential, this power of speech, this red light filling us. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Svaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Svaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Svaha. Full of this red light, this power of speech, powerful speech. Now Lama Tara so compassionately sends from her heart chakra, the center of her chest, blue beams of light. Blue beams, radiant, powerful, penetrate our heart, fill us completely. And what this does is purify all the nonsense in the mind, which is the source of the nonsense we do with our body and speech. The source, the thoughts, the concepts. And what does this purify? The negative concepts, the ridiculous ones, the ones that have no basis in reality. In this map of the mind of Buddhas, are the deluded, neurotic, disturbing, unhappy states of mind that also are misconceptions that cause us suffering and cause us to harm others and perpetuate our suffering in the future. So all of these annihilated. And what is that? The root delusion, the one that clings to this fantasy me, that's the source of all the problems. Then the attachment to get what that me wants, that bottomless pit of emotional hunger that causes anxiety and worries and all that. Then the anger, the aversion, the frustration, annoyance, irritation, depression, despair, all this spectrum of aversion, which is the response when attachment doesn't get what it wants. All of this and all the other nonsense, the jealousy and the confusion and the arrogance and the low self-esteem, all these other states of mind we're so familiar with, annihilated instantly, full of this blissful blue light. What a relief. How amazing. Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. Full of this blissful blue light. Freedom from all the nonsense. Again, Lama Tara so compassionately sends these radiant beams of blue light that enter our heart and fill us completely. And this time, what are we filled up with? Our potential. Those other parts of our mind that are integral to who we are, that are indestructibly who we are, and who finally are who we are, which is the virtues, which is the goodness, which is the clarity and the wisdom, especially the wisdom that sees reality as it is. The bliss that comes from this. Naturally, the mind is blissful. When the delusions are gone, all the fears, all the nonsense is gone. The mind is naturally pure, naturally radiant, naturally blissful. This is a very shocking idea to us in the modern world. This is Buddha's view. When the delusions are gone, what's left? Love, compassion, wisdom, effortlessly. Not to mention bliss and joy. Can you imagine? Full of all this. Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. Full of this blue light, full of these marvelous qualities, our own potential. This is not coming from the outside. This is in us already. It's our own potential. It's right there to be fully developed because the delusions are gone now. Can you imagine? So now what Lama Tara does is send all three lights together because we can still achieve more. We've achieved liberation now, we imagine that, but now we can even achieve Buddhahood. We can become Tara. So we can then zap around the universe benefiting sentient beings, you know. So imagine this time white from her brow, red from her throat, blue from her heart, coming into our three, removing even the subtlest imprints that cause us to accomplish actual omniscience, actual Buddhahood. We become Tara. How amazing. Three coming into our own places, filling us with these three blissful lights. Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. 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 You become Tara, imagine. Radiant, clear, blissful, seeing the minds of all beings, effortlessly powerful, effortlessly compassionate, effortlessly wise. This is our true nature. This is who we really are. It's not, it's our natural state. We've never had it before. We've never got it, but the potential is always there. And now we imagine having accomplished it. So now having accomplished it, what do? We don't just sit there and, blissing out. Our job is to benefit others. That's the action energy, based on wisdom and compassion. So now imagine the whole universe full of sentient beings. No, wait a minute, we won't do it that way. Stop that, cancel. We'll do something else. We'll do a different way. So now imagine the lotuses that Lama Tara is sitting on, the one she's sitting on and the one her right foot is sitting on. They just dissolve up into her body. Imagine this. And then she comes to sit above our head, facing the same way as us. Just imagine. So now you imagine she's so happily, your spiritual teacher as Tara. Tara, manifestation of your spiritual teacher. Out of her wish to become oneness with you, she dissolves into green light and enters through your crown and then fills you completely, and you imagine the energy of Tara's body, speech, and mind and the energy of your spiritual teacher's body, speech, and mind merge with the energy of your body, speech, and mind. They become one. As Lama Yeshe says, union, oneness. Imagine you become oneness with the Guru's body, speech, and mind, one with this Tara's body, speech, and mind. This is you. Imagine, this is your potential. You become it. Imagine. So now for about a minute, we're going to do a quick meditation in the last 3 minutes. We'll manage it. Just for a minute, about a minute, imagine you as vast as the universe. Imagine you're as vast as the universe. Completely blissful. No thoughts. Just about 1 minute. So now think, now that I'm Buddha, what's my job? It's to help others. What else? That's what I become Buddha for. So we just imagine, do it quickly, the whole universe suddenly full of all sentient beings, all in the form of friends, enemies, and strangers. There's no fourth category. Right in front, even if there's one person now who's making your life unhappy, right in front, your so-called enemies, your objects of your aversion, right in front. Imagine, even just one. And then to the left, your beloved, whoever you're thinking is great today, the person you're attached to, who's gorgeous for you, whom you adore, to the left in front of you, and all the other friends and enemies. And then the rest of the universe, all the strangers, to the right and behind and above and below you, as far as you can see, all in the form of human beings, which is the form they can get enlightened in. Imagine them all there. And now imagine just, now that you're Buddha, what else are you going to do? So imagine from your heart, tiny little green taras emanate out and enter into the hearts of every one of these people, all the enemies, all the friends, and all the strangers. And it instantly turns, gives them everything they want, takes away all their suffering. Imagine this, alleviating them of all their suffering. Can you imagine the suffering of the universe? Instantly annihilates all their suffering and instantly gives them everything they need. Can you imagine? This is what love and compassion is. Compassion is, may you not suffer, and great compassion is, I will do it. So here we're just doing it. We're imagining taking away the suffering of others. We're imagining love is, may you be happy, and we're doing that. We're giving them happiness. This is what love and compassion is. Imagine these tiny taras filling them all. And then finally turning them into Tara, helping them manifest their own Buddha nature, their own Tara nature. These tiny taras going out from your heart, entering into all these beings. Imagine this. Of course, you can do this much longer. You can take time to do these, but just to give you the idea. Even just the thought of this is inconceivable, Just these thoughts are putting atomic bombs in our own delusions. It's incredible. So now imagine they all dissolve into you. All these transformed Taras dissolve into you, enhancing even more brilliantly your Tara nature. Imagine that. And then we finish with the thought, the four immeasurables, these marvelous aspirations of the Bodhisattva. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings could abide in equanimity, free of attachment, ignorance, and anger. May they abide so. And this is the brave attitude of the Bodhisattva. I will make this happen. This is the attitude of the Bodhisattva, to never give up helping sentient beings. Please, Guru Tara, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings could be free of suffering and its causes. May they be free. I will make this happen. Please, Guru Tara, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings could have the happiness of enlightenment. May they have this. I will make it happen. Please, Guru Tara, bless me to be able to do this. And how wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never parted from higher rebirths and liberations, excellent bliss. May they never be parted. I will make this happen. Please, Guru Tara, bless me to be able to do this. And then you just think, sets us on our way, and we think today, think like a bodhisattva. And that means bodhisattvas, even, especially if they're high bodhisattvas, they don't need reborn. They've only got a body to benefit others. So think of your body to your body and speech is for the sake of others. Whoever you meet today, whoever sees you, hears you, who touches you, smells you, think, I'm there for their benefit. And your mind, that's your business. So you watch your mind like a hawk every second, recognizing what's there, adjusting the delusions, arguing with them, lessening them, growing the positive thoughts. That's practice. That's practice both for you and others throughout the day. How marvelous. Delight in our 30 minutes of hard work. That's it. Goodbye, people. It's speedy, but what to do? Got a lot of things in. We fit masses of thoughts in. And they're not, and so just nourish them throughout the day with this attitude, okay? Jangchub, Semchok Rinpoche, Ma Ke Panam Ke Guchi, Ke Panyampa, Me Payang, Gong Ne, Gong Du, Pabashok. May compassion grow and grow in the hearts of all. Thank you, darling. Everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you, Venerable.